If you're hearing this broadcast, it means it's already too late for most. But for you, there's still a chance. What I'm about to reveal now isn't a legend, it isn't superstition, and it's definitely not some internet hoax. It's a warning. Because if there's anything that can blur the line between the real and the impossible, it's them. Creatures that hide behind familiar faces. Creatures known as skinwalkers. You might think you've never encountered one. You might even believe you've never crossed paths with anything supernatural. But what if I told you they may have already been inside your home? That they may have already looked directly at you through eyes that weren't what they seemed? Skinwalkers are primarily found in forests, deserts, and isolated regions. But the most recent reports show something different. They're no longer confined to the silence of the trees or the shadows of the wilderness. They're moving closer to ordinary neighborhoods, ordinary streets, ordinary homes. And, what's worse, they're already imitating the one thing you trust the most, your pet. Think about it. How many times have you looked at your dog or your cat and had that strange feeling that something was off? Something in their gaze that didn't feel natural. Something in their behavior that didn't align with an animal's instinct? That feeling may not be paranoia. It could be the first clue. The most well-known way to identify a skinwalker is by their eyes. They can take on the perfect appearance of an animal, but they can't copy what really matters, the look. Because a skinwalker's eyes never look like an animal's. They're more human, focused, too aware. If you've seen this, know that it wasn't a coincidence. Another sign is their behavior. Animals don't pretend. They don't fake emotions. But a skinwalker, no matter how hard it tries, always gets the details wrong. A dog that barks for no reason, but doesn't seem to be truly barking at anything. A cat that stares at you in the dead of night without blinking, as if it's waiting for something. They test, they observe, they study. And when they believe you won't react, that's when they make their move. And before I continue, I need you to do something important. If you value this kind of information, if you don't want to miss broadcasts that might be the only warning before something happens, subscribe to this channel now. Because what I'm about to tell you next might be the only thing that keeps you safe when they arrive. There are rules. There are always rules. And in this case, following them could be the difference between life and death. If you suspect your pet isn't really your pet, never hide in just one room. Skinwalkers are known for squeezing through cracks, slipping under doors, and finding any opening to get to you. A house is never completely safe that if you come face to face with one, there's only one way to buy time: direct light. Shine any strong light into its eyes. This won't kill them, but it will blind them. Temporarily. It's just enough for you to run. And running is your only way out. Never try to confront them. Never try to capture one. What happens to those who fail to escape? There are reports. Few of them, because almost no one survives to tell the tale. But the fragments that have reached us speak of voices. A skinwalker doesn't just mimic an animal's body. It can try to mimic human voices. Short, repetitive calls, as if it's someone you know asking for help. Their mistake is that the phrases are never complete. Always short, always broken, and always lacking real emotion. If you hear your name in the middle of the night, coming from the mouth of what should be just your dog, run. And remember, locked doors are not a barrier. Mirrors are not a barrier. The only barriers left are time and silence. Because if it realizes you know what it is, the game is over. A woman from a small rural town reported something that has never left my mind. Her cat, which had lived with her for years, started acting strangely. For 3 nights, it scratched persistently at her bedroom door, always at the same time, 2:37 a.m. On the 4th night, she decided to watch. But what she saw wasn't an animal. When she opened the door, the cat was standing in the hallway, completely motionless. And its eyes, they didn't reflect the light like a cat's eyes. They reflected like human eyes. In the next instant, animal began to convulse, as if it were trying to remember how to behave. She was never seen again. Other reports speak of dogs that remain still in front of windows for hours, staring into the house without blinking. When their owners approach, the body reacts, but always with a delay, as if there's a gap between the action and the response, as if something needs to process before it can copy. The truth is, there's no permanent hiding place, only postponements. Skinwalkers don't get tired, they don't give up, and they don't get distracted. They just need to wait for you to fail and That's why these broadcasts exist, so you can recognize the signs, so you won't be caught off guard. But know this, from the moment you receive this kind of information, you've already entered a risk zone. Because now you're being watched. Toot it if your dog stops in front of the door tonight and doesn't respond like it always does, if it's eyes. Look different. If its bark sounds more like a call than a warning, remember what you've heard here. Use the light. Run. Don't go back home. And before this broadcast ends, listen carefully. Subscribe to this channel now so you don't miss the next warnings. Some of them aren't available for long, and when they disappear, it's because someone doesn't want you to know. Be cautious. Trust the instincts your eyes ignore, because maybe the animal you let sleep at the foot of your bed tonight isn't really your animal.